Deion Sanders' son leaks a picture of the NFL Blitz cabinet, and Arcade1up teases more Star Wars at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened last week. Some stuff happened last week, and we look forward to what's going to happen next week. I hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. I had a busy week. So I left the house early Monday morning, and I was gone till last night. It was crazy. One of the cool things that happened on my work trip is on the way back, I was able to meet up with Justin with Console Kits. We had dinner. It was cool. We called into the Super Game Room dudes, and I had a great time. He's a pretty cool guy. We got some stuff in the works. I'm kind of curious if anybody else would be interested in a meetup. So me, Justin, P-Dubs, try to get those Canadian guys out of there and just have a meetup somewhere. We're thinking maybe Chicago. I know we keep talking about this. Maybe it'll never happen, but I think it would be actually really fun. And just have this opportunity, everybody to kind of get together and just talk and just meet each other and you know, talk about arcades, talk about games. Let's talk about tonight the poll that we got up in the chat. So we've already got some activity up here. 49 people have already voted. Make sure you let your voices be heard in the poll. And this is kind of something that's fairly topical. It's something that's been kind of going around about NFL Blitz for a while. The question in the poll is this: if NFL Blitz is altered, specifically the late hits are removed, will you buy it from Arcade1up at the rumored price of $5.99? I know there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of what ifs, but basically, if NFL Blitz is altered, if they change it in some way because of these concussion protocols or trying to limit the violence, and you know, this is a cartoon game. I don't know why. I mean, it's going to be violent. It's just a game, right? It's just a goofy game. But if they want to, maybe if they're super sensitive about the image and the way things look, they're going to alter the original ROM, the original game. And then they're going to try to sell it to us for $5.99. Is that something you're interested in? Are you going to buy it anyway? Hey, the cabinet's good, probably going to look great. I can't wait to have it. So yes. No, I'm not going to do that. I want it original. What's the point of having all this if we don't have the original game? And I've also got I got to throw the third option in there. I got a lot of people asking me last few weeks about this. So here's the third option. I wasn't going to buy it at that price anyway. So that is a third option. If you think that's probably the way you want to answer that, you could do that. And listen, with the way these sales kind of bounce around, there's really no reason to jump in, you know, feet first in the very beginning and pay full price, right? So anyway, there's your question. If NFL Blitz is altered, the late hits are removed, will you buy it from Arcade1up at the rumored price of $5.99? So that is the poll question. 59 people have voted so far. Jump in there. I need to know what you think, but more importantly, Arcade1up might be watching this and they need to know what you think. They need to know what you value. You know, we talk about this a lot about what's most important in a cab. We're talking about monitor, artwork, controls, all this stuff. The ROMs, the game itself it's the bedrock, it's the foundation of these things that we buy, these big pieces of furniture. And if that's not right, you're tearing up the foundation. It's going to be rocky. It's going to be rocky. Not a lot of people are going to be that into it. So anyway, that's the poll question. Tonight, we are still drinking the Elijah Craig. I'm still working on this bottle. Next week, we're probably going to finish that up, which means this week I get to go shopping and maybe find something else, something a little more exotic maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so Elijah Craig is what I'm drinking. Let me know in the chat, comment section, if you're watching this on replay, what are you drinking? Yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy work week. So I get back. And when you get back from a week-long road trip, all the stuff you ordered the previous week, it comes in, you get to unpack it. It's kind of like Christmas. The only bad thing is that you're unwrapping all your presents and nobody else in the house has anything. My wife gets a little bit annoyed, constantly trying to take these boxes in and stack them up, and I got to go through everything. But what that means is we got some stuff that has come in for the Surf Planet Real Arcade. That's going to get, I've decided we're going to go ahead and give that a mini makeover before we transition that whole thing over to a completely different game, you know? So we're not going to do new artwork on the sides, but I want to go over some things that you may encounter when you buy a used arcade machine like that. Some things you probably want to replace, no matter what you're going to do to the cab, no matter if you're going to mod it or not. There's some things, some basic foundational things you're probably going to want to do to a real cabinet. So we're going to go over some of that. The artwork finally came in for Rampage, which means this week, everybody, Rampage should be done. You know, knock on wood, barring some crazy issue, Rampage 3-player should be done. I'm excited to show that off to you. The artwork came out pretty good. And then, of course, the layout's going to be really fun to play. It's going to be probably the best way you can play a 3/4 scale Rampage cabinet. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to show it off to you. It's going to be really fun. But let's say hi to everybody else in the chat. I got kind of long-winded there. I apologize. But, of course, the number one comment, the guy who almost comments like 9 hours before everybody else. 2 Mile Arcade, TMA says, hey, Battle, what other games would you like to see besides NBA Jam, Golden Tee, NFL Blitz, and NHL hits for Arcade1up or iArcade? I'm assuming you're talking about like sports games. I love soccer games. Not really. I really don't like sports. I don't like soccer games. I'm not a big fan of baseball games. Football seems to be pretty good. Seems to be pretty. It's sort of the same thing. It's kind of formulaic, right? But I think it actually lends itself pretty well to the game format, let alone arcades. So probably some more NFL, maybe something a little bit different besides Blitz. Is probably what I would go for, but one thing you don't have on this list, probably my favorite video game sport, bowling. I would love to see some bowling. Besides the one, bowling game we got on Golden Tee, which is good. But listen, that's the game that gets the most play. It gets the most play for sure on that cabinet out of all those games. There's a lot of good games. The golf games are fun, but the bowling, it just hits home for me. So Silver Strike, something like that. Would be awesome. I really want to see, it can have other games on it, but I want that marquee title to be bowling. So pick your bowling game. But I think something moving forward from what we have now, the graphics are pretty good, but I want to see something like let's just jump into the next stage, next step, the next generation of bowling games. That's what I want to see. Goofy Foot, what's going on? Blitz without the late hits is the same as MK without fatalities, not the original title. Not the original title. I know that the very, very first original version was altered. I think Justin actually covered this in his show earlier tonight, talking about the original, and how they sort of altered that and changed that. But you're right. What are you buying if you have something that was sort of the draw of the game, right? It's not like it's a tactical game. You got to go 30 yards to get a first down in that game, not 10. So that was some of the fun, the overtop action. So I don't know. What do you got to do to keep all that stuff in? Maybe you call it arena football, arena blitz. I don't know, but it's going to be an issue. It's going to be kind of jarring. So now that's the only thing that they removed, maybe. But come on, listen, all the other sound effects, all the other crazy stuff, the over the top hits, the the pow drivers, all that stuff, the wrestling moves. That was all part of the charm, part of the fun. You take that out, is it even blitz anymore? I don't know. That could just be over dramatic. Frank D, what's up? Says, I choose the third option because I'm not really interested in Blitz, but I think they can still provide a fun arcade style football experience even without the late hits. That is one way to look at it. At least it's a football game, something we don't have yet. So, and some people will just sort of be okay with that. Hey, everyone. Arcane Mage, the Arcane Mage says, hey, everyone, how you doing? Nice to see you. I think it's the first time I have seen you. Thanks for stopping by the show. I appreciate it. Rad Dad, the raddest of dads, says, keep seeing Blitz discussions everywhere. I'm hoping Marvel vs. Cap. We're going to talk about this later. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 news drops soon. Would have thought San Diego Comic-Con would be a great place to drop a teaser before EVO. We're going to talk about that. I got some thoughts on that, as I always do. David is agreeing with Goofy Foot. BCB 147, how you doing? It will be a bit neutered, but still be a fun game. Just surprised this is a concern when you preserve the original content in titles like, Mortal Kombat. Maybe it's not as violent to rip someone's head off and to have their spine come with it than it is to have a late hit on a cartoon game. I think the big difference here, though, it's the NFL. It's the NFL. To lock in that license, they don't want to be associated with concussions. It's been a real black eye on the sport, and I get it, but this is not the sport. This is a game, a cartoon version of the game, an exaggerated version of the game. But yeah, a little weird, right? Are we going to retroactively go back and say that, we can't have blood in Mortal Kombat? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Peter Marasco, I'm sorry, I messed up your name. What's up, Fox? Pumped for the live show tonight. He's pumped, excited to be here, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that I'm here. Because if I wasn't here, this would be a boring show. You would just see the two cabinets in the back and then the light glowing, and there would not be that much going on. So it's probably a good idea that I'm here for that reason only. Just something to look at, a face to talk to you. The Page Shim says, the Pad Shim, I'm just destroying everybody's name, and I apologize. Time for some Fox entertainment, and alcohol also helps too. It is time. It is time indeed. Mike Hawkerts, how the hell are you? I'll be too busy playing and winning Madden 23 online to waste time with Blitz. Rub it in. Come on, man. Jeez. Come on. Just come play with the goofball kids. Come on, man. Not all of us have Madden 23. And besides, come on, all the Maddens are the same. Come on. Until you get a new console, they're all this. It's the same game. It's the same damn game. It's Madden, again. Oh, but this time it's got different play. Come on. That's a whole nother. We'll talk about that later. It's a whole other thing. Frank D is responding to BCB. Shoeshine says, not interested in Blitz personally. Just here to watch the fallout if they really release it without late hits. Absolutely. And there will be fallout. There will be pain. There will be massive criticism by me and others. We have laughing smiley faces from Anthony. How you doing, buddy? Console fanboy says, hi. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Sorry, just had a little message pop up. I see that. Go back to the chat. I apologize. AWOL 101 says, what's up, Sarge? As you were. Charlie Chuck says, Fox returns from the travels. Yes, the travels did not take me too far from home. Actually, it kind of did. It was a 12-hour drive one way. Damn. Throwback Tyler says, hello, everyone. Hello. How the hell are you? What is going over the chat? Just kind of jumped on me. Let me catch back up. Ralphie Durham says, hello there. Hello there. Obviously a Kenobi fan. Maximum Lobo. One of those great names. Maximum Lobo. If you meet up in Chicago, you got to go to Galloping Ghost. That's kind of what we're thinking. It's a very loose discussion at this point. Don't hold me to it yet, but that's kind of what we're thinking. Middle of the continent, is kind of what we're thinking. So, yeah, that's kind of where our heads are at. Michael Evans says, hey, Fox. And I say, hey to you. How you doing? How you doing indeed? Oh, look at this guy. So we got my brother, Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, always coming through with the $10 super check. Fox, we are all up for a meetup between all you guys. And in Chicago, Arcade Holy Land. Let's make it happen. I can provide a venue for 200 people with food and, of course, bourbon. Cheers. Cheers indeed. That sounds like a great plan. Listen, we're halfway there. We just got to get the other guys on board. We got to sneak those two Canadians across the border. Not the brother. That's a different thing. More bourbon. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, buddy. I really do appreciate it. And you know what? I'm going to give you, well, you know what you're going to get. Where is it? Here it is. There you go.
Can't you do any better?
Walter Harris says he loves Elijah, but drinking bullet tonight. There you go. Tip the glass back. Unfortunately, we got to get ready for work tomorrow. So I'm actually going to, I'm taking tomorrow off. I traveled Saturday. I'm going to take tomorrow off. Because I'm just a rebel. Not really as approved. I'm not really. So Beach Native 78 says, Fox. Hey, 19 Thank you. I hope you didn't say that too loud and scare everyone in the room. Brother Bill says, listening to Fox and sipping some Four Roses. Very nice. Nice brand indeed. Not a bad way to end a Sunday. Not a bad way indeed. I think you're just missing probably a Cuban cigar and you'll be good to go. Look at this guy. We got Jason. He says, anyone have any luck playing 3-player Rampage on the... you kind of just glue another control panel to the side. No, it's not working out too well. You could, I don't have that hack figured out yet. Rainwater Game says, if you think the late hits are removed, you have not watched my stream from earlier today yet. No, I did not. And hopefully they didn't remove them, buddy. Hopefully that's not the case. Weapon X says, what up all? Logan, how are you? Hope your memory came back. Ashley Bradley says, hi, Fox. Hi, Ashley. Hey, girl. How you doing? No, hey, my buddy, my friend. Console Kicks. Justin. 19K Fox got me a got me the hate cheap whiskey. He's got to go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, you gotta have the good stuff, buddy. If you're gonna drink it, if you're gonna ingest it, come on. We only have so many days, hours, minutes on this planet. Why waste it drinking bad bourbon? It was great meeting up with you, buddy. Can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to do it again. Dimitri Drizos says NBA Showtime would be great. That would be a good combo cab, wouldn't it? But I think it would really kill their NBA Jam sales. But yeah, the Showtime cab with both of them. Talk about a great. I mean, that would be a great cabinet. That would be really, really, really good. Yeah, I know what you meant. You're going to go broke. I know. I apologize. I'm a bad influence. I am not limited on ways to spend your money or my money. Frank D says, might make some coffee. There you go. There you go. I've got someone coming to inspect the oil heater tomorrow. All right. Well, that's I probably want to maybe hold back on the alcohol. You got to have your right frame of mind when you got somebody coming in. Do some work for you. 94 degrees here, drinking RPM by a Boneyard, Bend, Oregon. Oh, whoa, 94 degrees in Oregon. You know, I was up in Minnesota and it was in the mid 90s and it was weird. I'm like, what are we doing? What is going on here? I thought it was going to be cool. It's supposed to be cool. So anyway, so let's scroll down. Said hi to, I probably didn't get everybody. I probably, MG, like I say hi to MG. I used to love making heads bleed in NHL, PA, Hickory, hockey. I guess you're, hockey. Autocorrect is kicking your butt there. 93 on Mega Drive. Yeah, I mean, especially if you've got an affinity. If you love the sport, you know, it's just really, it's just something. There's just something about playing it. And I got to be honest with you, I really like football, American football. I got to put that asterisk because I know we got some people in here from Canada. We have some people from across the pond, and I don't want to insult them, but so I'll say it's American football, and it's definitely the best football. It's definitely better than soccer or your football. The Nerd Jock Podcast says, hey, yo, 19K. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. So we said hi to some people. We talked about our bourbon. We talked about our projects that are coming up. Everybody seems to be having a great time. And, you know, it's unfortunately that time to go ahead and get into the first topic. Deion Sanders has a Blitz cabinet. Deion Sanders has a Blitz cabinet. That's weird. Who saw that coming? So let's kind of rewind the clock a little bit. So we had the show here last Sunday, and I rested my little head, got up early in the morning, and took off, headed out for Minnesota. And as I woke in the morning, I got these notifications. I'm on the drive. I'm actually driving, right? And well, I shouldn't say this. Don't tell anybody I told you. But as I was driving, I got the alert on my phone. I looked. I'm sorry. I know it's probably wrong. And I saw what it was. So I pulled over and I had to address some things. I had to investigate what is going on. So what had happened is, now back on July 15th, which I believe was the Friday before, right, the show, his son, I believe this is Deion Sanders' son, posted a short video making fun of his dad, I guess, making fun of the prime time, you know, talking about prime time. And then the image kind of goes back to Deion, and he's like, I knew you were going to say something silly. Ha, 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 you know, son. And then they went on about their business. But what I don't know he realized, but this was kind of in the background. Now, I snapped a few images here, so it happens kind of quick. So the first one you may have seen was the one on the far left where the majority of the cabinet is covered up. The one in the middle shows a little bit more, and the one all the way to the right is probably the best image you're going to see of the Blitz. You see there's obviously gameplay going on in the background, so the track mode's on. You got the marquee up top. That is all there. So it was kind of cool, kind of shocking. What's funny was, so this happens on the Friday. Nobody in the community really picked up on it until I believe it was sometime Sunday, late Sunday. What had happened was I was actually tagged, I believe, on Twitter. This would be late night, July 17th. And then I responded July 18th. That's whenever I took the image, took the snapshot, and posted it on my YouTube community page. That's how that all kind of went down. But it actually was found, someone on Reddit found it. I'm assuming someone that followed his son, posted on Reddit. It moves from Reddit to Twitter, and then Twitter starts tagging people, and there you go. That's kind of how all that went down. So because we see this, we start to immediately think, okay, well, what's going on here? What's up with the shape? And I know I'm probably covering some ground that others have covered, but this is my 2 cents, that I'm going to put in here. It definitely looks like, if you're looking at the image, it looks like, and I'm really happy about this, it looks like that, let me do this here real quick. Not that. There you go. It looks like there, the Midway shape, the Mortal Kombat 30th, the new Midway shape. I'm very happy about that. If it's that shape with a 4-player cabinet or for a 4-player control panel, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. That is a very comfortable. Listen, the screen is obviously a big problem. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I promise I'm going to have something for you this week. We're going to have something. This monitor's got to be taken care of. But the shape is actually really nice. The control panel is very comfortable. The angle, for me, everybody's different, is perfect. So if this thing is going to be a 4-player version of that, I am on board all day long. It looks great. But there's another thing that people are kind of looking at, like, hey, this is kind of weird. There's no branding on it. You see the Blitz, but where's the NFL logo? Where's all that? Where's the Players Association logo? Where is that? We don't see it. And so some people are thinking, and I was in the same camp too at first. This is some pre-production model. Obviously, it's probably going to be something different. You're gonna be missing a few of these logos, but it's okay. Eventually, maybe when it comes out, you're gonna have the production model with all the correct branding. But there's something else we've got to consider. Now, remember, all the branding isn't always in place. Take, for example, the Midway legacy cabinet, the MK30. There's a lot of Midway missing on the cabinet, right? That's not accurate. But there's something else we're overlooking. In this image, it's backwards. So if you take a look at this is an image I pulled from Google. I'm assuming this is correct. This could be different. But if you look at this marquee here and the proper orientation, right, the top one that's highlighted in white, you see the NFL, the Players Association on the left, and you see Midway on the right. The image on the bottom, highlighted in yellow, when it's inverted, the Midway logo is on that side. But we know that Midway doesn't get equal billing when it comes to Arcade1ups, right? So it's safe to say that the Midway logo would probably not be there. It's consistent with every other Midway product that they've brought out to us. It's just the way that it is. Not sure why, not sure what's going on. Whatever, it's fine. But my point is this. Because it's, flipped horizontally like that, safe to say that the Midway may not be there. We could still have the NFL logos all the way to the right-hand side. It's backwards, right? The image on the camera is just backwards. That's what's going on. I think it could be just that simple. So while we're concerned about it, and I think it's appropriate, I think it's very, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to poo-poo this at all. I'm not trying to downplay this at all. Authenticity is very important, but we're not talking necessarily about something that's going to be in, I got to make another graphic now for a word I can't say, but it's not going to be non-authentic. It's escaping me. It's not going to be fake. It's not going to be wrong. I think we could still have, the potential is still there to have the NFL logos there. They're just going to be on the other side. I think it's just that simple. When you think about it, it could just be that simple. So I think that's good. That's encouraging. Maybe that's all it is, right? Which it's also kind of weird. Like, how did he get this? I mean, really, how did he get this? Now, and to be fair, this doesn't really, now this is a leak, kind of, right? A leak image. This is a leak of the cabinet. This is not necessarily a leak of that the cabinet's coming. We know that that's coming, right? And the FCC filings kind of confirm that. I mean, we all started with the GameFly leaks that were great. They were turned, they seemed to be a work of fiction in the beginning, but now confirmed multiple times by multiple sources. This is what you got. So the FCC filing definitely confirmed that it was coming for the most. I mean, it did, right? It confirmed it. It's coming. So this doesn't necessarily do that. This is not earth shattering. Doesn't blow everything out of the water. But it's interesting. Like, why does Deion Sanders have one? This is so weird. I mean, we've never, ever, ever seen this connection before at all, ever, right? Well, maybe we have. In fact, we actually have. A long, long time ago. Not in a galaxy far, far away, but in a galaxy it's at just a few states that way or west. I'm not sure which direction that is. Over in California, we actually saw this. If you roll the clock back to February 7th of 2021, the Super Bowl party, the Super Bowl, event that was going on the weekly one-up. And we saw this connection back there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to play for you a clip of that episode, and let me know what you think. I don't know if you remember this, but when I watched it back, I was like, oh, wow. And then just my mind, it was blown. So if you're worried about brain matter being all over your walls, maybe put on a helmet or a hat. Here you go.
You guys are all, I don't know. I feel like we're never going to be able to crack this code.
That means 2021, and then one of my favorite defensive players, Deion Sanders. That's all it means.
And the football on top of the cabinet's just
you never know.
just a football on top of a cabinet. No.
You'll never know. You never know. So, yeah. So if you look at the thumbnail of this video, you see that Deion Sanders also played for the Cowboys, and his number was 21. It was 21 back then. So, I mean, there was an immediate Deion Sanders connection before. I mean, like in the rumor stage, the very beginnings of the rumor stage, there was already the Deion Sanders connection. So was this planned? I think him having a cabinet was definitely planned. I mean, without a doubt, it's obvious. I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, you to drop that Easter egg, to drop that hint. We did not know at the time what that meant. Not really. I think we all sort of assumed in NFL Blitz. We assumed, a football game. We didn't. I didn't necessarily put that together. That Deion Sanders would have one. I thought Deion Sanders was his favorite player. He's a big Niners fan. Football, Niners, fine, whatever. That's as far as it went for me. I didn't think that they were actually going to make sure he got a cabinet. So was this leak planned? I don't think so. Now, there's obviously a connection there. There's obviously something, maybe of all the players that they contacted, this is somebody that John D. he wanted him to have the cab to get a hands-on, maybe to get some feedback, I'm sure. But was this leak planned? I don't think so. If you go to, I think it's Shiloh Sanders on Instagram is where this video came from, the source. It's actually his. It's not his dad's. And, you don't know who's going to take a video of you and put it on Instagram and post it. You just don't know. So he probably wasn't prepared for that at all. He swings it around real quick. It's a quick clip and it's gone. And they probably thought that some people wouldn't even notice it. I mean, maybe it went up and maybe he saw it. Maybe he was like, whatever. It's fine. But I noticed something that in the comment section, in the comments of that Instagram post, people they're adding Arcade1up official. They're like, hey guys, woohoo, look over here. And it's still up as of an hour ago. That Instagram. Now, listen, are you going to tell the son of Deion Sanders, primetime, are you going to tell him to do anything? No. They may have reached out politely and suggested. And then as soon as maybe there's a little bit of pushback, sorry, maybe they just didn't say anything at all because they're like, listen, hey, it is what it is. The FCC filing is already out there. People know that it's coming. They saw a little bit of it. It's fine. We're not gonna ruin a relationship with Deion Sanders over this, especially not his kids. Yeah, I think probably the appropriate thing here was just to leave it alone. Let's just leave this alone. It's fine. It's fine. So, but it's still up. It's still up. You can go see it. Like I said, you go to Shiloh Sanders on Instagram. Pretty easy to find. He's a blue check mark. And you can jump on there and you can watch it and you can pause it. And you can look at it again. You can zoom in, do all the goofy stuff that I did. I did it. I'm not above anybody. I'm just that guy. So why does Deion Sanders have this cabinet? What would be the point of that? I mean, he's not a tech guy. Did he even play the game back in the day? Maybe. I think he's a little older than me, so I'm sure he probably played it, especially if his name was on one of the characters in the game, and it was, like I said, it was a very arcade cartoon version of football. So it's pretty easy to walk up to it, pick up and play, go have a little fun and walk on. Maybe he played it, but he's not the guy you go to make sure that it's pixel perfect, that the emulation is on point, that the game is not altered anyway. No, Deion Sanders. I think Shaq involved going over to the NBA Jam, the Shaq edition, the Shaq Jam XL. His involvement happened, I think, too late. There's a couple things going on there. Obviously, you got a lot going on. You got the XL form factor, not a Pro, but an XL. So that is a big thing, but it's sort of been some of that thunder has been stolen with Golden Tee XL, the 19-inch monitor. We know all about that. We know the quality. We're familiar with the size and the form factor. So the new is kind of off on that. The fact that they have Shaq involved, I'm sure, is a big thing, but it's the same exact games list. Wi-Fi. The control panel, for the most part, is damn near the same size. What's his impact going to be? What's Shaquille O'Neal's celebrity endorsement? What's the impact there now that we are so far in the life cycle of what's basically the same cabinet? I know it's different. I know it's a different shape and size and all that. This is the first time we've seen this specific XL form factor, sort of mimicking a traditional arcade. I think it's probably not as big as it would have been if, maybe Shaq was involved in the very beginning of the original NBA Jam. Maybe we don't put Shaq's name on it, but maybe he's involved from the go. Or maybe, what the hell? Let's go ahead and put his name on it and let the chips fall where they may. Would NBA Jam have been more successful with him involved in the beginning? If he was involved in the beginning, would they have maybe had to alter the side art, because it's Shaq? Or maybe because it was so late in the life cycle, they knew they had to do something different, so that's why they added Shaq. A lot of questions you got to ask. I think at the end of the day, the impact that Shaquille O'Neal had on selling that product is probably diminished somewhat. So what's my point? What does that mean? What does that matter? What if Deion Sanders is involved in the beginning, the very beginning? If he's part of the push, maybe he's not on the side of the cabinet, which I hope he's not. I don't want them to detract from the cabinet because of it's Deion. But to have Deion in some way, shape, or form advocate for it, in some way to say, listen, hey, to have some. I think it's really about the legitimacy of the product. I mean, we're sitting here trying to focus on, is NFL actually on the marquee? Because we want it to be authentic. What better way to sell the authenticity than to have the NFL actually backing this product? So that puts our minds a little bit more at ease. And then also the normies out there, the people who aren't arcade nuts, that are maybe looking for something to go in their arcade, or maybe looking for something to go in the man cave or the basement, or the extra room where maybe they got a pool table, or maybe they got a big TV and then they got a bar, and maybe they got the NBA Jam, but they don't have NFL Blitz, and it's something they really want. They want something simple. I'm talking about the Golden Tee NBA Jam crowd. What if they want a third? They're not interested in all this other stuff, but they want a third sports game. What better way to complement that setup, and to have Deion Sanders on board? But I think we're talking about, it's one thing to say individual celebrity endorsement. Okay, that's fine. But to have the NFL involved, to have the NFL actually being a part of this from the beginning. Now, we've seen some of this with Arcade1up and a close relationship that they obviously have with the Miami Dolphins. They've been down there. They've got a huge game area in the Dolphins stadium. Massive, huge place. It was kind of their first brick and mortar location for the most part. And then later on, also in Miami, they have an actual store, an actual brick and mortar store where you can go and play Arcade1ups and buy them, assumingly. So you've got that relationship already. If you can somehow launch this product in coordination with the NFL, how much more impact would that have? Like I said, we're launching it with the NFL's blessing. We've got Deion Sanders on board. Is it possible that they could have some sort of event? I don't know that it would be an event specifically, but here's kind of what I'm thinking, right? We're coming up on the end of the summer, which means we're going to start having, preseason football games. The coverage is usually pretty light. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of super focus until you get to, obviously, the regular season. Maybe the first couple preseason games have a lot of highlights on them. The cameras are on them because that's when you may play some of your starters. But like the third and fourth games in the preseason, nobody cares. It's just all the second string. It's nobody. If you've been in this YouTube space, if you're in entertainment at all, dead air is not something you want. And you want another segment, another thing to talk about. Is it possible that during some of this preseason coverage, we could have a little cutaway to an Arcade1up cabinet? Could we have it on the sidelines of a, maybe some NFL teams, summer camp? Is it possible we could see this on the sidelines, under a tent, under a canopy at the Miami Dolphins practice center? Hey, they're playing. Cameras are there looking at all the players. Are practice. Hey, by the way, swing over here, over to the sidelines. Reporters, hey, Arcade1up's got this thing. Is it possible that we could see the product sort of introduced that way? Listen, look at the way they're handling Shack Jam. I know it's not 100% wholly brand new product, but look at the way they're handling Shack Jam. They had an event. It was a Shaquille O'Neal event that he was already doing, and they had him there to sort of pitch this, to not really pitch it, but just be a part of the unveiling of the new form factor. I think it makes sense. I think it adds a lot of legitimacy to the product. I think people are going to be more inclined to maybe have to go to the website to buy this. Is this going to be available at their local Walmart? Maybe not. We're seeing sort of a difference when it comes to the retail space. Not a bunch of people having a bunch of stuff in every store, right? A big variety of Walmart stuff. So yes. You know what? I'm missing my tin hat, my tinfoil hat. That's what I need. Yeah, we are. So, I mean, Justin, what do you think? I mean, maybe they see that their product could really get a monumental boost. I mean, this could launch them into the stratosphere as far as the exposure of the product. Who's really going to buy it? Probably. If you listen, how many flat screen TVs does Best Buy sell around the Super Bowl time? All their marketing is targeted at the Super Bowl dads, the Super Bowl families. Hey, Super Bowl's coming up. Watch it on the best thing out there. Watching on the new, OLED TV. And the Super Bowl is part of their marketing. It's a giant push. What if that's exactly what they're going to do here, but do it during the preseason? Things are kind of slow. You're not competing, with regular season ads and regular season stuff. Hit them in the preseason. Hit them early on. Maybe it's just a segment on NFL Network that, for the most part, also has sort of a lot of dead air because all they're covering is the NFL. Could it be something on their channel, on their network? I don't know. But I think it's possible. I think it's beneficial. I think that if nothing else, what Arcade1up sees right now is that celebrity endorsements, celebrity involvements are going to be much more beneficial when you launch the product than when you come in sort of midstream after the product already exists. They pseudo did that with Shack Jam, but I think when it comes to NFL Blitz, they could really hit this thing right out of the park. And, P-Dubs, I agree, Fox. Arcade1up releasing Hubert will save the company for sure. Thanks, man. Exactly. Yes. You know what? P-Dubs is just like me. He tries to work, Hubert into every single conversation, whereas I try to sneak AVP into every conversation I'm having ever, even with people that aren't talking about arcades, which that's a really odd thing to do. And, I most of the time when I do that, they look at me with just blank expressions and I just back away slowly into the shadows. I got to work on that. I got to find something else to talk about. But that's my theory. That's my goofy theory. What do you think about that? Is it possible? What do you think? And even look, Fatal J's, my brother's here, and he says he loves Hubert. Exactly. That's what LOL means, right? You ain't laughing at Hubert, are you? How dare you? But anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments section if you're watching this on the replay, in the chat right now. What do you think? What does all this mean? Yes, Blitz is coming. Yes, evidently, Deion Sanders has one. What is the purpose of all this? I think it was probably planned from the very beginning that it was probably a lofty goal they were shooting to get. Man, if Deion could get his hands on one, that would be it. So let me know what you think about all that. What is your scenario? Is it all just nothing? Or is it something? I think it's probably something. It's definitely not nothing. But is it going to amount to a lot of things? Is it going to amount to killer sales? I hope so. For Arcade1up's sake, obviously, the more money they make, the more chances they can take, which means, maybe the bread and butter stuff, like maybe the NBA jams, maybe the Pac-Mans, maybe the NFL Blitz cabinets will make so much money that our deep cuts will actually get a chance to shine. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. And now let's move on to the next topic. San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Damn it, man. Let me start off with a question. Let me ask you this. There were no reveals during San Diego Comic-Con. Was that a mistake? What do you think about that? Now, listen, if they don't have anything to reveal, they don't have anything to reveal. That's fine. I get that. Whatever. Sorry about that. When the coaster sticks to the bottom of the glass, that's what happens. Sorry. No, it's probably loud. Was it a mistake not to reveal anything? Now, like I said, if you don't have anything, fine, don't. But how many more opportunities throughout the year you're going to have to really reveal something and make a big impact? E3 is not what it used to be. Everything and all those sort of tech things kind of happen at the beginning of the year. This is specifically, it's right in the middle of the freaking year. It's a great time to announce something, show something off. What should they have announced? I don't know. Listen, if I didn't think they had something going on with the NFL, I think maybe NFL Blitz, it would have been a great time to do that. But something else. Listen, maybe they don't have anything going on. Maybe they don't have anything going on at all. Who knows? But I think there were some people at San Diego Comic-Con that had something else to say. So the coverage for San Diego Comic-Con, we owe that all to be over at Kong's R Us. He's been killing it. He's got that, that California advantage, that West Coast advantage. He's got it. He's there. And he's utilizing the hell out of it. And I love it. I think it's great. He's been able to sort of work his way in there and help them out, obviously, with some of that social media stuff. And obviously, he's a fan of the product. So it was great to have him there. If you haven't seen his coverage, go check it out. Justin was over there helping him out. It was a great live stream. So, amongst all that were some pretty good interviews. Not a ton of, zero reveals per se, but there was plenty of stuff to talk about. One thing is, I think probably maybe even the highlight of the entire event was the t-shirt. I know this is probably not maybe the top on your list, but I'm telling you what, this t-shirt looks great. It's got the Star Wars theme going on, and Star Wars and Lucasfilm was a big focus of where they were and what was going on for Arcade1up at the event. I love this shirt. Listen, we're probably we can't get this. We just can't get it, guys, because we weren't at San Diego Comic-Con. This is an exclusive. But you know what lucky person did? Endless One-Up was able to enter. We all entered, I think. I think I was probably one of, what was it, 150, 175 people entered to see if they could win in the chat live as we were watching it. And Endless One-Up got his hands on one. So congratulations to you, Endless One-Up. And if it doesn't fit, if it's a little too tight or something, you just let me know. I'll take it off your hands for a fee, for a nominal or for a small or a big fee. I don't know, really. But it looks like it's a great shirt. It's a damn shame that their regular merch just doesn't quite cut it. Doesn't quite cut it at all. So that was fun. And you had some, you had some things, you had some stuff, some actually pretty big stuff revealed. There was an interview with Liv. There was a couple of interviews with Liv. And she's great. I'm so glad she's on board with Arcade1up. She seems to be very involved with the for one, the direct to consumer, and then also, the fact that a schmedium schmarge, or Marge, I don't know how that word. I don't know what the. But she seems to be very involved, invested in direct to consumer and making that more of a thing. Direct to consumer. What do you want? Tell her and she'll let you know. The whole hashtag Get Loud movement is primarily coming from her. She wants to know, Arcade1up wants to know what they want to see from us. What do we want? And you got to get loud. You got to make your voices heard. So there was some cool stuff coming from her. She was the one that gave us the SDCC 2022, so 2022, San Diego Comic-Con 2022, the promo code that saved you $50 on anything at the store. Now, you can't couple that with your other coupon, which was a $25 coupon you got for answering the survey, which I hope a lot of you got that. I got that email, I got that survey, I got the promo code, the the redemption code there, and it's $25 off. You can't bundle that with the $50 off. It's not going to work that way. I tried. I'm shameless. So you can't get $75 off, but do 2 purchases. Maybe do the 25 on something cheap and the 50 on something more expensive. But what was interesting to me was we got to see David McIntosh. David McIntosh has not been as vocal as he once was. He was more vocal before John D was. And he kind of dropped some bombs on us, kids. So the interview, and I'm not going to play the clip of the interview if you want to see that little, and it was a quick thing. He was actually on his way to meet Cyrus and some licensing folks. So Justin very wisely said, no, go to that. We want you to go get that stuff done. But he asked him a couple great questions. And one of them was related to something that I love. Absolutely. And it's Star Wars. And here's the quote. So obviously David didn't give too much away, but he gave some stuff away. And what he said was that Arcade1up is definitely working on more Star Wars. And some projects, some Star Wars is bigger than the others. And he just sort of left it like that. So some of the stuff they're working on is bigger than the other. What does that mean? Well, listen, I've shown this slide many times. It's the round table. It's all the form factors, right? All the ways that Arcade1up will allow you to play an arcade ROM. So it is what it is. I definitely think I've been on record they need to reduce this dramatically. But if you're thinking of Star Wars, what else could they put Star Wars in? Well, listen, if we're talking about Star Wars arcade, if we're talking about Star Wars, Atari, you're talking about, something with a yoke, right? So what could you possibly put a yoke on? I think they were sort of joking on the live stream about, a partycade, having a yoke on a partycade. David said he would probably rip it off the wall. Obviously, the 3/4 scale is great. I think nobody would be mad at you, Arcade1up, if you just re-released, point for point, the same damn thing. Maybe if you want to get that price point up there, you can bundle the Star Wars stool if you want. I mean, maybe a commemorative plaque or something, maybe a tin sign or one of those sweet anti-fatigue mats. But basically, the cabinet needs to remain exactly the same as the upright you released before. Nobody would be mad at you about that. Release that. That would be good to go. So that's only one of the form factors. Looking around at the other form factors, you see the head-to-head, sit-down, probably not. Countercade, not with a yoke, not a yoke game. Maybe I think there was really no, I'm trying to think, as far as arcade games go, there was some console side-scrolling, not beat-em-ups, but like platformers almost. Plenty of those on the consoles, but most of the stuff that was released in the arcades had a joystick, or it had a yoke, or it was like the pod racer with the levers and all that. So what other form factor could you actually do? What else are you going to do? I think the 3/4 scale, obviously. The giant joystick, probably not, but man, now that I've said it, oh dear God, if they did that, what a travesty, what a horror that would be. The projectorcade, I hope, is definitely out for sure, but maybe the projectorcade minus the projector and you just plug it into your TV. I don't know, but the only thing really, I think the obvious thing here is going to be the XL form factor. The XL form factor. Of all the form factors, the XL, the big boy, the big size is what I want to see. Even if it's just the same Atari games, that's what I want to see. I think everybody wants to see that. Now, I say XL. I think we probably want Pro, because we're going to talk about a few things in a second that, are really going to lend themselves to, you want to listen, kids, at least the way things are right now. XL's nice. I've got one. Super cool. But you want to lean towards Pro. Trust me. So I think of all the form factors, that's the only one you really want to go with. Another one is going to be in regards to the KI Pro, I'm starting at the KI, but the XL/Pro. Those two form factors that are probably the same form factor, but they're going to have better stuff, obviously, in the Pro. One of those is going to be the monitor. And that, I think, is probably the reason why this next quote from David is probably the impetus. That's probably why we're getting this answer. And Justin asked, hey, listen, what's up with the Pro? We got the XL. What's up with the Pro? And he said that David said, honestly, Pro is delayed. And he said later on that it's probably going to be next year. There's a chance that a Pro cabinet, probably KI Pro, since it's been announced, would show up at the end of this year. But most likely next year is going to be the year of the Pro. This year, he said is the year of the XL. XL's fine, but XL is going to be standard Arcade1up controls. It's going to be that monitor, that TN monitor, for better, for worse. It is what it is, right? Pro is going to be a step above that. Sanwa-like controls or HAP-like controls, probably a better yoke if we're talking about Star Wars, and a much better monitor. Now, I hope that there comes a day where the monitor is not the thing that really distinguishes between the two form factors or between the two classes, because the monitor is one of those basic bedrock foundational things. You got the ROM and you got the monitor. For me, in that order. Number one is your ROM, number one is your emulation, and then number two is your monitor. Everything else we can deal with, everything else we can upgrade as we see fit. But those two things have got to be top tier, in my opinion. So that's kind of where we're at. There's one more thing. There's one more question that Justin asked, and I'm glad he did. Really glad, Justin, you did a pretty good job there, buddy. There's some other questions you could have asked, but one question you asked was, can you reveal anything that's going to come out this year? Are there other cabinets that are going to come out this year? Is there anything? Is all hope lost in July? We still have half a year left. And he said, yeah. David McIntosh said, yeah. And he said, for sure. And there's two biggies. Here we go. So now my brain starts going. And I'm sure your brain was also going if it wasn't before. Your brain should have been going before, because if it's not going, you're probably dead. But since you're not dead and you're watching this live stream, thumbs up. My brain started going because the next question, the very next question, knowing what we all know, what are the two biggies? First of all, he's Canadian, so biggie, you got to let that go. He meant big one. You know, he said biggie. Come on, don't beat him up. He's Canadian. Biggie? Come on, come on, man. Come on. But so there's two bangers. There's two AAAs out there. What are they? That was my question. Because here's the deal, guys, kids. You're talking about one is kind of known. I think Blitz is probably a biggie, right? Blitz is probably pretty big. He said there's two biggies left to come, left to be announced. Technically, Blitz has not been announced. We got to remember this. Simpsons taught us a lot. No matter what you see, until it's on their websites, somebody from Arcade1up is screaming it from the rooftop saying, hey, this is announced. This is coming. Here it is. Pre-order it here. Click this link. Boom. You know, it's really not official. It's not even been announced yet. So Blitz, for everything we know, has not been announced. So what would be, if you don't think NFL Blitz is a biggie, what would be bigger than that? We got to go back. We got to look at everything else that we know from the leaks. Now, the GameFi leaks, for the most part, have been spot on. They really have. They've been really good to go. Everything else is, I think everything has come to fruition. Everything. The only really big deviation was been the release date of Shack Jam. But the release date itself really wasn't the issue. It was the reveal of the cabinet, which happened much earlier, I think probably because they wanted to coordinate with Shaq. But it's still not out yet. So if you look at those old leaks, it's probably going to end up being right where it is, right? Coming out mid-July. Or I'm sorry, late July at this point. So what are we left with? Well, I mean, that kind of leaves us with Time Crisis and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Or the way P-Dubs likes to say it, Marvel vs. Capcom II, because it's a Roman numeral. The jury's still out on that. I don't really know which side of the aisle I fall on. My heart wants Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but my body, it's not saying yes. My body's saying, come on, Fox, you're lost, man. It's not going to happen. So that leaves Time Crisis and Blitz. Which one of those two is going to be the second? I'm of two minds of this, and you got to bear with me. So here's one of two scenarios that I think can help us really narrow this down. We talked about this last week. We talked about my thoughts. I think that Time Crisis is going to be delayed because I think it's going to be a pro cab. I say that because of that price tag. Looking at here, we know that Blitz has been announced. Obviously, it's there. It's not even a question. So we know that's coming. Bearing that in mind with the FCC leaks there in the middle, we're talking about the pro cabinets. Probably going to be an to $1,000 bundle, depending on how it shakes up, right? Depending on how they stack everything up. If the pro cabinets are going to be delayed till next year, like David said, pro cabs next year, I got to think that Time Crisis is also going to be delayed till next year. So that means that potentially in this number one scenario, that he's talking about the number two biggie is actually Marvel versus Capcom 2. It's coming this year in scenario number one. In scenario number one, my brother. Is that you, Nick, or is that Coach? Either one. Love you guys. Thank you for stopping by. Scenario number one. In scenario number one, Marvel versus Capcom 2 exists, and we can rejoice because it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, or at least maybe even the wheel. Maybe even as great as the wheel itself. Not Fire, though. Fire's different. We got to think of. So scenario one, they've delayed Time Crisis because it's a pro, and we're going to get Marvel versus Capcom 2 this year. That's the other biggie. I'm excited. Unfortunately, there's also scenario two. The scenario number two is this. What if Time Crisis is an XL cabinet? What if the $800 price tag is basically you've got Golden Tee, but you got a big improved pedal, and you got the gun, and because you've got some extra stuff there, it's going to be $100 more than Golden Tee, which you can kind of see that, right? You get Golden Tee with just very simple controls. Take Golden Tee, that price, add a gun and a pedal, big functional pedal. Now I think we have an issue where Time Crisis is XL. And if this is the year of the XL, that means Time Crisis coming out this year. Time Crisis is the other biggie. And that means that at least for this year, there is no Marvel versus Capcom 2. Where do you line up? Where do you stack up? What does this mean for you? What camp are you in? Are you scenario one? Where, everything, we get everything, right? But Time Crisis doesn't come till next year. But we still get everything we want. Or are you kind of on the fence, leaning towards the other scenario? Maybe you've jumped over the fence and you're over there because you've given up hope. And you say that Marvel versus Capcom 2 is just not going to happen. Fox, that was II. That was not a numeral 2. That was not the Roman. The Romans didn't care about Marvel versus Capcom. Neither should you, Bull. I care. I think that's where we're at. I think it's those two scenarios. So we got two more biggies coming this year. Now he didn't say just two more games. He said two biggies. So I guess there is a third scenario. A third scenario does exist that maybe, just maybe, David McIntosh doesn't like Marvel versus Capcom 2. Maybe he thinks it's not a biggie and we could still get everything we want. So I don't know. Like I said, my heart wants Marvel versus Capcom 2, but my body, it's unfortunately, it's saying no. It's saying that we're not going to have that. It's a damn shame for sure. I went down smooth, but unfortunately, it's all gone.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
It is time to wrap it up. Before I read the poll, B over on Kong's Wrestler's channel, he's got another live stream about San Diego Comic-Con, talking about that. Going to wrap that up. I might even pop over there. If you want to go check him out, just stay right here. You're going to be redirected right to his stream. But before we go, I got another super chat from my brother Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger for $5. Fox, I don't think Time Crisis is a Pro or XL. Both Golden Tee and Shack Jam had 19-inch in the name to refer to the 19-inch monitor. Time Crisis doesn't. Very good point. Stop with all your sensible talk. I was over here in crazy land before you tried to bring me down. I appreciate the $5 super chat, but let me blow you up here one more time. Here, I'm going to give you this one. You know what? No, I haven't sent anybody to the pit tonight. You got to go.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
It's a shame to see him go. He was such a great, great man. He donated $5 to be thrown in the pit. It's very sad. So check over the poll. 192 people voted in this poll. I want to thank everybody for voting. Awesome. Almost 200 votes. It's really good. If NFL Blitz is altered, The late hits are removed. This was the question, right? Will you buy it for the rumored price of $5.99? Yes, I gotta have Blitz. 21% of you said yes. In second place was, I will not buy it at that price at 26%. So that means that if 53% with 193 votes says, no, I'm not going to spend that much money, you got to keep it original. You have to keep it original. And it's just, I think it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? But anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Make sure you stop over and check out the Kongs R Us. B's got something to say about SDCC 2022. Could end up being one of the bigger San Diego Comic-Cons for Arcade1up, maybe in retrospect, but not in reveals. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't work too hard. Now we'll see all of you next time. Peace.